are listening to Scribble Talk, a podcast for bid and proposal professionals. My name is Bhaskar Sundaram, and with my co-host,
Ashley Case,
we will be sitting down with our industry veterans to share their stories, discuss their career, and learn how to make an impact in the industry.
Today's guest is Janneke Orriëns. Janneke is recognized for her passion for proposals, championing proposal management best practice, as she and her team help bidders to capture must-win deals and to bring about radical increases in win rates. She has completed proposal assignments with clients in sectors such as IT, telecom, accounting, facility management, staffing, and logistics. Janneke served as the first chief executive of the Netherlands chapter of the APMP in 2004 through 2006. Today, the Netherlands chapter is one of the largest APMP chapters. Additionally, since 2007, she has been part of the board of directors of NEVI, the Dutch Association for Procurement Professionals. Over 6,000 procurement professionals are NEVI members. Prior to joining Strategic Proposals, Janneke worked at KPMG International, one of the largest professional services firms in the world and one of the big four auditors. As a buyer, she successfully ran global RFPs and negotiations, such as the Global RFP for PC hardware and services. Respected as a thought leader in the proposal profession, Janneke has a track record of outstandingly successful achievement, consistently attracting excellent feedback from senior executives, course participants, evaluators, and proposal professionals alike. Welcome, Janneke, to Scribble Talk. Great to have you with us.
Thank you, Ashley.
So Janneke, we love to start in the beginnings. We're curious where you were born, where you grew up, where you went to school.
Actually, I grew up in a very rural area of the Netherlands. It's called the Achterhoek. And it's basically where the farmers are. So I had a really quiet childhood and only moved to Utrecht, which is in the middle of the Netherlands, to go to college, where I studied marketing management.
Yeah. That's very interesting. So was your first job in marketing management then?
My first job after leaving college was actually working at the store at Laura Ashley in Arnhem. Just basically looking for a real job, thinking I would become a manager at Unilever immediately, but really ending up just making sure I could take care of myself. So that was my first job, and actually had a lot of fun. And I think it's really good for your social skills actually to work in a store for a while. But that was my first job. So it took me a while to kind of find my spot.
Yeah. So when you finally found your spot, was that straight into proposals or something separate?
Actually, after about 2 years, I did all kinds of different jobs, and then I actually was applying for a different job, an inside sales job at an IT company. And when I was interviewing there, they said, "Well, actually, we've got a different job," and they said tender coordinator. And they said, "Would you be interested in doing that?" And actually, I was kind of getting used to just doing whatever people were offering me as a job. So I said, "Sure, I'll do that. Sounds great." And actually turned out loving that job. So it was like most people, it was a bit of a fluke jumping into proposals. And I didn't think I'd like IT. I didn't think I'd like proposals, but I loved it from the start.
Yeah, it's a unique personality that we all have where we love this profession, right?
Yeah, it is. You either love it or hate it.
Exactly. Yeah. So what's unique about professional services pursuits compared to federal or commercial tenders?
I think one of the biggest differences there is the importance on relationships with the customer, but also relationships not just on a personal level, but also on a business level. When I was a buyer at KPMG, reciprocity was such a big part of what we were doing, and kind of two sides of that. On the one hand, you want to give back some money to the customers that use your auditing services, but on the other side, on the other hand, you also wanted to be really careful not to become entangled in one another. So I think that was one of the biggest differences for me. Other than that, as one of my first managers taught me, they're just customers asking a question, so you might just want to answer the question.
Yeah, right. So you have experience working in multiple sectors. Can you tell us a little bit about maybe some of the similarities and differences across those sectors?
Yeah, I think really the similarities are bigger than the differences.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we do. I do still do a lot of IT RFPs. I respond to a lot of those, and kind of what they like would be the binary type of answer. They just want everything to be crystal clear. And I guess that when I do something in facility management, you also want to have a bit more of the human touch in there.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you can make it a little more fun. But in the end, and those are kind of the extremes for me.
Mm-hmm.
In the end, both of them, you want to be really clear, and you also want to make sure that you take into account that it's people reading this and trying to kind of be relevant to them.
Mm-hmm.
So the one thing that I do notice is that in our team, you do kind of need that background in IT, for example, in order to be able to help customers from the start, just because it gets to be more complex.
Mm-hmm.
And your generic skills will help you anywhere, really. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we dig a little bit deeper into kind of your proposal background and maybe some APMP stuff, curious, what are 3 things that not many people would know about you?
Yeah, I think that's such a tough question. I think one thing people don't really know about me, especially my customers, is that I'm quite an introvert, and I think that goes for a lot of proposal people. That when we're interacting with the team, with the bid team, we may seem to be quite outgoing and quite sociable, but on the other hand, we also kind of have this maybe slightly autistic thing going on where we need our time alone and we need our quiet time. And I don't think a lot of people know that about me, people that don't know me very well. Another thing is that I'm a huge bargain hunter. I hate to close the deal. So I will almost always try to not do that. So
Yeah.
I guess, and the third might be my love for Dolly Parton.
Oh.
I think she's just such an interesting woman, and I love how someone can be so genuine from the inside and still be quite the big hair and the makeup and everything, and maybe not seem that real on the outside, but that's actually who she is, and that's what I love, that people are just so different. And I think that she seems to have this thing where she's just recognized who she is, and that's what she is. That not a lot of people do know that about me.
Yeah. Oh, that's so amazing. I actually recently moved to Nashville, so I'm not too far from Dollywood.
Oh yeah, I'd love to go to Dollywood. I'd love to go to Nashville. Such a pity that the bid and proposal call didn't go through in May.
Yeah, hopefully, it won't affect attendance too much, and we'll be able to meet up with lots of friends in September, October. So we're curious, what's unique about the Netherlands market and how they procure tenders?
I think what's probably unique about the Netherlands is kind of very much determined by Dutch culture, that we are so direct in our way of communication, and I think that especially in government tenders, this really translates into quite a transparent process, and really just asking the question that you actually want the answer to. And I remember working on international bids when I was running RFPs at KPMG, and we were always being so indirect. I feel like, shouldn't we just ask what we want to know instead of trying to make people guess what maybe we're looking for? And I think that's one of the things when I look at international RFPs, they tend to be much less direct than the Dutch ones, where they will share their goals, their budgets, and actually ask questions where they're interested in the answer.
Oh yeah, that's definitely, it sounds like a big difference there. So you mentioned some procurement initiatives that you've participated in. Do you have a most memorable effort that you supported?
I do think that the global hardware RFP for KPMG was, for me, the most memorable one. Also because I was actually running that one. And KPMG, it consists of about 150 subsidiaries, but I'm saying subsidiaries, but I shouldn't, because everyone's equal. They're all partners, and there's not one boss at KPMG. So just running that and trying to kind of get people to agree to a certain set of specifications and trying to go to market, and then working with the suppliers, that was just really interesting, and the way they responded to the RFP, and yeah, one supplier actually giving me a call and say, thank you for inviting me, but we don't have the experience to respond to this RFP, let alone deliver. And then you've got the other one that's just being really arrogant and totally avoiding the procurement process and just immediately calling the people that hold the money. So really interesting. Yeah, very, very educational.
Yeah, absolutely. You've also trained hundreds of people over the years. Do you have a memorable training effort you can share with us?
I think the most memorable one was actually my first one for strategic proposals. That was for Vodafone in Hungary. And everything went wrong that morning. They didn't know I was coming. The room wasn't there. Nothing was working. But then I met this wonderful group of people there that were just absolutely lovely about the huge mess that we had at the start. And they just were so eager to learn and just they just wanted to soak up whatever knowledge I had to share. And that was just such a wonderful experience, because before that, I wasn't even sure I would enjoy delivering training courses. But yeah, definitely the people I met at Vodafone Hungary, they were lovely. And they're all over the world now. So many of them did so well. So I'm just genuinely proud of them also. Great people.
Yeah, that sounds like a great experience despite the hiccup that happened in the morning. Similarly, I'm sure you've supported several proposal efforts over the years. Do you have any memorable ones that stand out?
Yeah, I've actually, I must have done a few thousand really over the years. Been doing this for such a long time. So yeah, they're memorable for different reasons, but one big one is a rebid that we did with a temp agency, and we actually got to work with our customers. So this was also when I was with strategic proposals already, and I got to work with the customer for a year, really doing the capture phase and the pre-proposal phase before also helping them put all of that knowledge and all of those aspects that we learn about into our proposal, and then of course winning in the end. So and I think that was so great, getting to work with all the people and really getting to know the people that were already working for that customer, and having the time actually to gain all that information that so often when we're working on an RFP that we wish we had, we don't. And that felt so great that we were just, as a team, we just felt really confident that we'd done everything we could, and that we were telling the right story, and then to get that acknowledgement from the customer and my customer being so happy, that was wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always nice when you have those ones where everything just seems to fall in place, and it's a great experience and a great memory. So over the years, you've accomplished so much so far. Can you discuss some of the key achievements that you're most proud of?
I do think that I think that there's two things. One of the things, and I don't think I can actually take, I don't think that honor is completely mine, but I'm just so proud of seeing the Dutch APMP, the Netherlands chapter, just growing year on year. And I'm just so proud of having been there at the start when there were like 6 or 7 people in the room.
Yeah.
And it was just, I mean, we were all really passionate, but there were just so few of us. And I'm just so proud to now just join the meetings, and it's just an ongoing thing. Where people can join, and more people like me when I was discovering APMP and just being so happy to find other people doing that same job. That's still there actually makes me really proud. And I think the second big thing really is Strategic Proposals Netherlands. Growing the team, and Richard Buys, he started Strategic Proposals Netherlands, and of course BJ and BJ Lowney and John Williams started the international, the UK US version. But it's just great to see this grow and yeah, see the impact that we have with customers. So I think those are the two big ones for me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You mentioned, APMP Netherlands as being something you're proud of and seeing that growth. When did you first join APMP as a member?
Yeah, I had to look that up. That was 1999.
Wow.
Like Prince. Woo.
And do you remember your first experience attending, Bid and Proposal Con?
Yeah, the first one was actually in Albuquerque. Okay. And yeah, I convinced my boss that I really, really needed to go there. Yeah. I one of the things I remember most of that first one is actually Dick Eason, Wordman. Yeah. And basically he was telling us stuff about Word, and the people in the room, the crowd was going wild basically on something really silly, like how to remove double spaces or something. Yeah. And that was just the greatest thing. And it's one of the things I love about APP, how people they get really excited about the same things.
Yes.
That most other people wouldn't understand. And I thought, in a sense, this should be really boring, a guy talking about Word. But of course, Dick is such a lovely guy, and he's so passionate. And everyone was just really, just really connecting on that. So I think that was one of the, yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure you've gone on to give some talks at conferences. Do you have any that have been memorable?
I did a presentation about what we can learn from the supermarket. I did that in Seattle.
Yeah.
By the way, Seattle was great. But so I think for me that was the one I'm probably most proud of. And it's actually a presentation that Richard at Strategic Proposals, he actually developed most of that, and he allowed me to present it this one time. And it's just so interesting how to kind of really dive into how we can influence people to see different things, and how to also put that onto paper. So we still have a version of that we deliver to customers.
Oh, wow. That sounds like a very interesting presentation. So you have gone on to achieve APMP certifications. Can you tell us a little bit about your certification journey?
Yes, of course. Yeah, the first one actually, of course, APMP foundation level. I did that quite early on. Of course, Strategic Proposals being one of the approved training organizations. When I joined Strategic Proposals, I basically had to do APMP foundation level. So John Williams actually trained me and prepared me to do the exam, and that was kind of the easy part. But then, of course, the APMP practitioner one, it actually took me about 3 or 4 years to kind of get through it, I guess. But the good thing about that was that one of the things why it took me a while is that I actually still I didn't have certain experiences yet that I was supposed to describe. And I thought that was an amazing part of the APMP journey, to actually be forced into doing all of these tasks that maybe my former employers didn't didn't require me to do. And I was basically asking customers, can I just do this for you free of charge? Because I'm
yeah.
go through this accreditation, and in a sense I'm a bit sorry about that step changing, of having changed for APMP, because I do think there was real value in that, and I still sometimes recommend to people to use it as a personal development plan. I'll just point them towards the old version and say, well, maybe you would still want to go through that, just because to me it was really helpful, and then just do the regular exam. And then of course the professional one, I actually used the experience I had at Compaq, and from saying Compaq, you know how long ago that was, because it's been HP for the longest time. But at Compaq I actually had the opportunity to build the team from 5 people to 20 people within a year, and to go from just supporting product proposals into supporting anything and everything that APMP, that HP, Compaq, I should say, that Compaq was bidding into. And that was so great, because we were required to measure everything. It was perfect for APMP professional. So, and I did that quite soon after I finally finished practitioner.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that sounds like it was a really interesting professional impact paper that you presented.
Thank you.
So you've seen tenders from both sides. Can you share your thoughts on how we can improve successful procurements and relationships?
I think one thing that I learned on the procurement side is how important it is that the suppliers actually respect the process that you're going through. Kind of show respect. That process, and I always think that you can always give a customer a call, but you just need to be respectful if they say, please do not do that, because we're going through an RFP right now. And actually, I also find it to be much more respectful if you give me a call. When I was a buyer, if you give me a call a year before the RFP, and not just start sending me gifts and stuff after after sending out the RFP. Wasn't actually gifts, but like the tone changed. So
right,
kind of want that ongoing relationship, and not like, oh, why is he calling me? Oh, apparently he's afraid of an RFP coming out. And the second one really is to be relevant. Of course, I was a proposal person before I became a buyer. So I think I was, for that reason, quite strict as a buyer, because I hated it when people were waffling and not actually answering the question. So I got these 1,000-page proposals in response to a 60-page RFP. And I would just get so frustrated by that, because they were telling me stuff that wasn't helping me make a decision. And I'm still teaching people that really the purpose of the proposal is to help the customer make a choice. It's not there for you to share whatever you like to talk about. It's there to help them make a choice, and that usually means you can leave out about 90% of the stuff that you want to share.
Right.
It's not going to help them. So those are the two big things that I also experienced as a buyer.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of on the same vein, are there 3 procurement best practices that you would share with us?
Some on the procurement side, you mean, that buyers should use? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So one would be to talk to your suppliers. That would be a good one, and to start talking to them early on. Second one would be to not ask questions that you're not going to or the answers are not going to be useful in your decision-making process. At KPMG, we used to have to ask certain questions, but we wouldn't use that at all. We'd actually skip it when we were reading it, because we weren't interested. And the third one, and that's not one of mine, but that's one that I just love when I'm working on an RFP, is to on the final page of the RFP, to thank the bid team for all the hard work they're going to be putting in. And I think that's just so motivating to everyone, that you'll get better proposals if you do that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So you kind of started your education and maybe some of your early career in marketing. Are there any resources you recommend for improving marketing skills?
Not really. I think that no, because I really genuinely don't really like marketing. I found that I'm so much more of a salesperson because I like the one-on-one thing.
Yeah.
So I guess that actually I would recommend marketing people to take a look at the APMP stuff.
Yeah.
In order to not forget that behind those groups of customers, there's actual customers and actual people there. So yeah, I guess I would recommend the APMP to the marketing people.
It's a great recommendation. You're also active in, and I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, if you say it or if it's NEVI.
Yeah, we say NEVI in the Netherlands, but
Okay,
that doesn't
yeah.
work internationally because it sounds like the Navy, right?
Right.
Boats.
So can you tell us a little bit about that organization and your involvement?
Yeah, of course. NEVI was, I actually joined NEVI when I became a buyer at KPMG because I didn't have a background in procurement. And of course, I had this really positive experience with APMP, learning so much about being a proposal person, that I thought I could probably find a similar thing in procurement if I started joining some of the meetings at NEVI. And yeah, I definitely found really professional, really enthusiastic buyers over there. And NEVI actually has about 6,500 members now, just in the Netherlands. So just comparing that to APMP having about 10,000 worldwide, you can imagine how influential NEVI is in the Netherlands. And I actually started off just being part of the women's network within NEVI, which wasn't the most popular thing because in the Netherlands we're quite laid back about gender differences, I guess. So everyone was saying, well, should we have one for blonde people and should we have one for people under 30 and one for so but actually that was really good fun, and from that I actually became part of the overall NEVI board, and that was great because they were doing so much research in order to improve procurement in the Netherlands, and you actually get to help them decide kind of what subjects are we going to ask the universities to do research on. And I learned so much from that, also from kind of how to work in a more integrated manner, how to think about processes on how to connect the supplier and the customer and get some real value out of that. So yeah, and I still know a lot of people from that time. I must say that buyers are generally less open than proposal people. So whenever I go to the APMP conference, everyone's just really open and sharing basically almost everything. And when you go to a NEVI conference, it will take them a little time to start sharing. Yeah, that's why they're good at buying and we're good at proposals.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds like a great organization. And
it is an amazing organization. Yeah.
So I think we're ready for our surprise rapid fire questions round.
Hope so.
Yes. So, as a child, what did you wish to become when you grew up?
I wanted to have a little bookstore.
Oh, okay. That's very unique, though. Why?
Well, I just loved being in bookstores.
Nice.
And I could spend whole afternoons. I would get in the car with my dad. He would be going to the office, and I would just spend all day in the bookstore in the town where he worked, in Winterswijk. And I would just love that. And I wanted to be an entrepreneur because my father was an entrepreneur. And he was actually an accountant, but he had his own company.
That's very great. And do you still continue the habit of reading now, Mecca?
Yes, I do. I love to read. I still love to read. I do have to admit that I really only read rather crappy novels. So I like Lee Child, Jack Reacher stuff, and kind of just these fast moving books that are just there to entertain you. And
Yes.
I think it's because we have to read so much stuff where we need our full brain capacity.
Yes.
That I do enjoy the lowbrow stuff.
God, yeah. I wouldn't complain. Considering we spend most of our time reading and writing proposals, the last thing you want to have is a very dense book, right? So,
Yeah, that to me, but I know that B.J. Lowney and John Williams, they're always reading literature, and I'm always so impressed by their their reading preferences. But I can't meet that standard.
yes, we all have our own style. So, do you have a favorite book or favorite novel?
Oh, sorry, it's supposed to be rapid fire. I guess not. I guess the whole Jack Reacher series for now, at this point in time is my favorite. I'm up to number 22.
Oh,
wow.
wow. That's pretty serious there. That's good. So I know you work with your partner, Richard. So if you turn into your partner, Richard, for a day, and Richard turns into Janneke for a day, what would you do to him?
What would I do to him? I think I would. I think I would make him write a book.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, because he's a great writer, and he's one of those guys. He's got a book in him. I know it. But we're always too busy. But I think that, yeah, at the very least, he should write a book about proposals because he's got great vision.
That's good. It'd be interesting. I'll ask him the same question when he comes to the show.
He should.
Let's see what he says. That's great. Are you a tea or a coffee person, Janneke?
Coffee person.
How many coffees do you drink a day?
Oh, probably about 10.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, I'm a big coffee person. And at Compact, people used to not get hired if they were a tea person. So we try to do that, but then you get these great people and they drink tea. What do you do?
I hope you don't drink coffee before you sleep like my wife. Do you?
I do, but I don't think it bothers me anymore. So, yeah.
God, okay. So what's your favorite dish to cook?
Ooh, that would be an Indian dish, actually. That would be, I always forget the names, but I've got this cooking book by Madhur Jaffrey. And I just love her, and she's got these things where she describes, like, you can make this dish, and then what's really nice is to bake kip karahai and then include all of these things. And I just love the way all of the flavors combine if you actually follow all of her recommendations. So it takes me half a day to get it all done, but it's I love that. So I guess chicken karahai would be one of my favorites.
Oh, wow, okay. So I'm definitely coming to Utrecht soon.
Yeah, you should. You can teach me how it's supposed to be done, right?
Oh my God. So that's the expectation, Don't worry.
Yeah.
I won't
call your mom. Yeah.
That's a good one. So I know you mentioned that, Richard had a book in him, but if you were to write a book yourself, about yourself, what would you name it?
First thing that comes up in my mind is having fun.
Oh, nice. Nice. Yeah, that's a beautiful title. Just keep that. That's great. So what internet site do you surf to the most?
Google. Google is your friend if you're a proposal person.
I think my next question was, who is your best friend? Tell us about him or her, but you already answered, but let me ask again.
Google's not my best friend. No, my best friend is Marion. We've been friends since we went to college together. Well, she actually skipped after about 6 months,
right.
But we were always friends, and she's one of those people that's quite wise. She's just such a genuinely kind person, and she's got this innate wisdom that I love about her. So yeah, I always learn from her when I talk to her, and she doesn't do it on purpose. It's just who she is.
Wow. Do you have any other kind person other than Marianne?
Yeah, actually, my other friends, my other two really good friends, Esther and Marianne, they've also got this kind streak. And actually, Richard, who's also my husband, he's just a genuinely kind person, and he can, yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. You have beautiful, kindest friends and also kind husband.
I'm just so grateful of the people that are around me. They're absolutely lovely. Yeah.
I know you shared about others, but what is one trait you like about yourself?
I think I like my optimism, and I like that I really very rarely am in a bad mood. So I think that yeah, generally people will experience a sense of positivity with me.
Yes, I'm sure our listeners definitely have got that message by now. Yes, 100%. So I think I know the answer for that, but I'll still ask you, if you have to wear a t-shirt with one word on it for the rest of your life, which word do you choose?
One word.
Uh-huh.
That's tough. Yeah, I think we're going to go with fun again. I think that would make me happy or happy.
That's it. So you mentioned about chicken karai, but if you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Sorry, rapid fire. Yeah, I think I'm just going to stick with the chicken karai. Because if I can do it with all the side dishes, I won't get bored.
So what was the best year of your life and why?
I think life in general is actually really good. I do remember when I was working at Compaq, which has been over 20 years, that actually if I missed a day at my job, it felt like I'd been missing out on the fun. And I think that was just a really good time. It was one of those periods when a lot of people have that when they work at a certain company. That kind of everything clicks at a certain point in time and everyone's so aligned, and those are always really good memories. So I guess, yeah, that would probably be it.
We know the genre of who you are, but if Hollywood made a movie about your life, whom would you like to see play the lead role as you?
Ooh, I could choose. I would love Scarlett Johansson to play me because she's so beautiful. So I'll look great.
That's amazing. So, do you prefer to sing in the rain or dance in the streets?
Singing in the rain.
Okay. So, what is something you cannot live without?
Yeah, first thing comes to mind, love.
Oh, nice. Okay, let's go really random. If Godzilla is chasing you, what do you do?
I think I would lie flat on the floor, hope that he didn't see me.
That's a good one. If you could be invisible for a day, what would you do?
I think I'd just stay in because I think maybe I would experience things, I would see things or hear things I didn't want to. So I think I'd just stay in, leave people their privacy.
Nice. I feel sorry for Richard though.
I'll just be watching Richard all day.
All day. And the best thing about it is he doesn't know that you're watching. So
Yeah.
that's great. So if you were to perform in a circus, what would you do?
Ooh, I think I'd probably be selling the tickets. I'm really afraid of heights, but I do like interacting with people from behind the desk. So.
Oh, nice. That's a good one. So what are your favorite pizza toppings?
Oh, salami.
Oh, wow. Okay. So if you had the opportunity to live 1 year of your life over again, which year would you choose?
Oof. Yeah, I guess that would then probably be around 2000.
Okay. What happened 2000? Why is it so memorable?
That was still that same compact period. We were
Ah,
having loads of fun, and I was learning, and as a person, you're really open to learn.
Mm-hmm.
I feel I'm still quite open to learn, but not as open as I was 20 years ago.
I think we all are. So what's your favorite Christmas memory?
I think it was actually as a kid we were we were kind of forced to sing for old people at Christmas, and the old people they were always so pleased with us singing, and then you'd get these cheese sandwiches that I really loved. So I was already looking forward to that, and yeah, and everyone's kind of like pinching your cheek and telling you that you were such a nice singer, which I'm not. Yeah, so I guess the kindness and the food, those two things.
Nice. So I think which music artist would you rate as perfect 10? And what song do you frequently play in your playlist?
I play loads of music, but I guess I would have to go with Dolly Parton and 9 to 5.
Nice. Okay. So the last one is, what makes you angry?
That's a tough. I don't get angry quickly. I think if people don't show integrity,
No.
I think that's for me is one of the biggest things. If they don't show integrity, or they show distrust to me.
That's a good one. Definitely. It will upset everybody. So who are the people who have been the most influential in your life and career?
I think on the one hand, my dad, just seeing him go to work and be really be quite passionate about his profession. I think that's also what made me connect to APMP, just the concept of having a profession and taking that seriously and wanting to develop in that. And him really being an accountant because he liked to help people. It wasn't just about the numbers. It was really, he would be on the phone in the evenings with customers that were in trouble, just trying to help them. So that was a big one. And I think the second one was my manager at Compaq, who really took a chance on me because I was like 24, 25 and basically all over the place. And he gave me the opportunity to become a people manager and develop a team. And he was just one of those people. He liked to give people opportunities. He liked to give you the chance to kind of blossom. And he would give me these quarterly themes. He didn't give me goals. He just gave me themes. And that just was exactly what I needed at that point in time. So it's like first quarter, it's about getting to know people. The second quarter is about kind of getting your processes in order. The third one is getting out there and talking to people and presenting to them. And he did that for a few years, and I think that's really how I became a professional. Because when I started, I was just winging it.
That's nice. Do you have any warm memories of the very first time you met BJ or John?
Yeah, it's the first time. The first time I met John, we went over to visit him at Compaq in the UK because he was because he had set up this team and he was like winning 100%. And in the Netherlands, we were doing well. We were doing like 60%, but we wanted to learn from that. And it was just such a great day that we spent with him. And one of the things I remember is how he would talk about the creative part of the proposal role, and he had this room with like cuddly toys and stuff that people would work with, and I thought it was just lovely to spend that day. And from that, BJ actually, I had my first proposal training from BJ.
So who haven't you seen or talked to in a long time and you hope that they are doing okay?
I guess one of my friends when I used to live in Arnhem, she was called Corine, and we used to spend like almost whole days just sitting outside with a beer, watching people, chatting. And I haven't spoken to her in ages, like over 10 years. So no, nothing went wrong, just kind of lost touch. So good question, Bhaskar. I'm gonna find her on Facebook.
Yes, and tag me as well.
Yeah, I will.
She will be wondering, who's this guy? But
Yeah, exactly. Huh? Random.
and she might connect the dots. Oh yeah, she likes chicken karai and this guy.
Exactly.
It'll be fine. So, we are living in this COVID crisis. So what have you observed lately that reminded you that people are good?
Yeah, I think what you just see is so many initiatives to help people. One of my former colleagues at Compaq, she actually her mother was actually in a home, and she's just taken her out of the home because otherwise she couldn't visit. And her mom is actually living with her now, and she's taking care of her, and that's just one example. There are so many. But and I also find that you just get these random messages also from kind of people you know through APMP who will just randomly send you a message, just checking if you're okay. And I think that's also so nice. I think if you ask how are you these days, it means a lot more, and people will actually listen to the answer.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a good thing about coronavirus, where of course it is just awful and it's
That's brilliant, Janneke. So that kind of nicely brings us to our final 3 questions with Ashley.
All right, Janneke, it's been such a pleasure hearing about your career and your journey. Looking back, what's one piece of advice you would have given to your younger self?
I think I would tell myself that most people actually genuinely want to help, and most people are really kind. Because when I started work, I was quite afraid of everyone, and I thought that people would judge. Whereas actually, I've discovered over the years that really most people, they just want to help. They just want to they just want to get a good result, and they'll help you to get there. So that would have been good at the start. I wouldn't have been so scared.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure those listening, especially those younger listeners, can really gain some benefit from that advice as well. On a similar vein, what is the best piece of advice that you've received over the years, and who gave it to you?
I think maybe, I'm not sure if you could call it advice, but it's my mom. She was always telling us if we had to do something and we were standing there nagging, she would tell us, in the time that you were standing here nagging about it, you might as well have done it. And her dad, my grandfather, actually also told her that as a child. But I think I kind of still hear her voice sometimes in my head, and it's kind of to just get on with it.
Yeah.
is such useful advice and really practical, because sometimes in every job, and I absolutely love what I do, but every job also have these things where you're just kind of like dreading it. And so then I hear my mom's voice. It's kind of like, in the time that you were sitting there just nagging about it, you could have actually done it.
Right. Yeah, I love that. So we're in some interesting times right now with the COVID and whatnot. What's something you're looking forward to in the future?
I think the thing that's next for us is we just bought this new house in which we'll also base our offices. It's from the 1870s, so it's really old, and it needs a lot of remodeling. So what I'm looking for is when the remodeling is done and we get to live there and enjoy it and just feel this sense of pride of how we turned it into something amazing. And can just experience the history of that building. Really
absolutely.
looking forward.
Yeah, it sounds like a really fun journey.
Yeah.
Perfect, Janneke. Is there any part of your life or career, Janneke, that we haven't touched that maybe we could spend a couple of minutes on?
Not really. I think we've addressed most of it. I can't remember ever talking that much about myself, actually.
I know, that's great. Okay, thank you so much, Janneke, for your time. It's really been a privilege to have you with us at Scribble Talk. Wish you, Richard, and your parents, friends, colleagues, clients, everybody around you, all the good health and happiness. Please do continue to inspire bid and proposal industry colleagues and everybody around you. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy. Speak to you soon.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And thank you too, Ashley.
Oh, thank you, Janneke. To our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. Please visit batchyscribble.com/podcast to listen to this episode and check out any of our other previously recorded episodes. If you've enjoyed today's interview, don't forget to subscribe, review, and share the Scribble Talk podcast. We hope you'll check out our next episode where we interview another industry expert and special guest. Until then, it's Ashley Kays,
Pastor Sundram,
signing off.